this morning here on the Promise FM. I'm excited to have Dan Peterson with us. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Patrick.
Now, Dan, you're the volunteer coordinator for the Wexford Habitat for Humanity, which is kind of a well-known group. A lot of people have heard about them, but for someone who says, I know the name, well, what do they do? What is the purpose, the goal of Habitat for Humanity?
Sure, Patrick. Well, our mission statement actually is pretty brief. It just says to transform lives and community by building adequate and affordable housing for partner families in need. And it's really centered around the concept of partnership housing. And it's a partnership. By that we mean those people who are in need working alongside volunteers to build appropriate housing. And it is a Christian ministry. It was started in 1976, actually, by a couple that had a heart for ministry of this kind, Millard and Linda Fuller, in Americus, Georgia. And it's blossomed out to being all over the countryside. And, of course, we have a local chapter here in Cadillac.
Okay, and, I think one of the neat things about Habitat is they do get the person who's going to get the house, they get them involved.
Well, absolutely. And I think there's one big misconception that we hear a lot, Patrick, and that is that Habitat just gives houses away, but that's certainly not the case. Really, there's four primary criteria for recipients. First, they have to live in a substandard housing, and that can be either just really, really poor quality where, the wind is blowing around through the windows or they have leaks in the roofing, or it can be inadequate size, so that would be one. The second is they have to be willing to commit up to 600 hours of sweat equity. Now, that number of hours is based on how many adults in the family. It can be as little as 350 if you're a single mom, or up to 600 if there's 3 adults. They have to have lived and worked in the county for 1 year and be willing to commit to a 20-year 0% mortgage. And then they have to have earnings that must be in the 40 to 60% median income in the county. So it's certainly not just giving the person a home. That's a pretty substantial commitment that the folks need to make. But it works very, very well.
Now, of course, one of the ways that Habitat helps to make it affordable is they use a lot of volunteer work, don't they?
That's right. I mean, it's absolutely right. We have volunteer crews working almost every weekend, Patrick, and of course that's the single biggest need that we have is people who are willing to and have a heart for this kind of ministry to come alongside us and participate in the actual build. And, some people, I think someone asked the other day, well, do you have to have really building expertise to do that? And certainly you don't. You just need to have a heart and a willingness to get your feet wet a little bit. Actually, a typical build for us is always a Saturday. It's we have a general contractor that is on site, so we're not just kind of working in the blind there. He's leading us and working with us. Probably a group would be typically from 3 to 6 people. Our builds are typically start about 9 in the morning and run till maybe 3:30 in the afternoon. We can be building or working on interior or exterior things. All the tools and materials are provided by Habitat. And really, a volunteer actually, if they know or are related to the recipient, they can actually help the recipient by committing those hours they volunteer to the total hours of sweat equity that the recipient needs. So that's kind of a typical Saturday volunteer build, and it's certainly our biggest need.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, how many homes do you guys have right now under construction?
We have 3 under construction, and they are in various stages. We have one of them that's really close to being completed, another one kind of halfway, and then the third one is actually this Saturday we're working on putting roofing on. And so all of those we have to be completed by June so we can start 3 more this summer.
All right, so if someone's saying, ooh, okay, this sounds interesting, I don't have a lot of experience, but I do have time. How can they get involved with what you guys are doing there in Wexford County?
Sure. Well, the first thing we do, or they could do, Patrick, is contact us. And if they have, of course, a computer and the Internet, it's simple just to send us an email. That is VC, as in Victory Cat, at wexfordhabitat.org. And they could drop me a note that would come right to my computer and say, I'm interested. Can we connect on the phone? Or they could give us a telephone call, 231-775-8661, and just ask for me, and we could chat, relative to scheduling. We can be talking to an individual, and we have individuals that are so faithful. They come many weeks, or we could be looking at a church group. Maybe somebody's listening and they're saying, our church has never done this, but we could round up 3, 4, 5 people. It could be couples. It could be either men or women, younger, older, retired people. Yeah, we could do that, and we could talk about a schedule for a group build. They could come as a group.
Okay. All right. And, it's a great way. We talk a lot about missions and going outside the country. This is a great mission right at home, isn't it?
Absolutely, right in our community. And, Patrick, I've seen housing that is really so deplorable. People say, well, gosh, is there really a need for this kind of housing in our own community? Absolutely, yes. I mean, I've seen families in homes that are just sad, and
sure.
They need better housing.
All right, that's Dan Peterson from the Wexford Habitat for Humanity. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, Patrick.